In the platform system of Spotify, there are three types of components. First, the core components, which remain stable as the core complements change. Second, the complements, which exhibit high variety and high rates of change over time and can be internal part of the core or external part of the periphery of the platform. And third, the interfaces, which are the design rules that allow the core and the complements to operate as one system. We see that we have a modular architecture existing of modules and module interfaces in a large system, reducing the cost of splitting design and production across the whole ecosystem. Let's go a little deeper now into the different actors on Spotify. One group of actors on the platform are the complementers. Complementers include actors that develop complements in the platform ecosystem, as well as actors that use those complements. Also, companies that advertise on Spotify, artists and companies that analyze user data for Spotify are complementers. Another important complementer on the Spotify platform are the license holders. Spotify gets two classes of licenses for the music it distributes. Sound recording license agreements, which cover the rights to a particular recording or music, and musical composition license agreement, which cover the people who own the rights to the song. For the composition licenses, there are two types that need to be secured: performance rights, which are generally paid to song publishers, and mechanical royalties that are paid to songwriters when a song is reproduced. Whereas artists and advertisers belong to the core of the platform, the developers and license holders belong to the periphery. The second important group of actors on the Spotify platform are the consumers. The consumers are the many music listeners. They get access to the platform very easily by signing in with their email address or their Facebook account, and they can subscribe for a free version or a premium account for a monthly fee, where Spotify offers a tiered pricing model for family, students and regular users. There are interactions between the consumers and artists, for example by creating and sharing playlists and following. The interactions between the developers and the core of the platform is enabled by boundary resources, which we talk about in a few seconds. The Spotify platform follows a single ownership model in which the role of Spotify includes the definition, establishment and maintenance of governance mechanisms like the approval of apps. By streaming music, creating playlists, providing songs and producing information, all these actors participate in the value co-creation on the platform. But we've already talked about that in our first video in more detail. What is important to know is that Spotify acts as an intermediary, matching the music to the listeners, which we also name the orchestration process. These were the transaction-based value-creating mechanisms in Spotify. To have a look at the innovation-based value-creating mechanisms, we go a little deeper into some parts of the periphery of the platform, talking about boundary resources. Spotify provides IPs and SDKs for developers so that they can develop unique experience for listeners all over the world. There are mainly 5 types of tools that enable them to do that. The first one is the Web API. It practically returns metadata about music artists, albums and tracks directly from the Spotify data catalog. The second one is the Web Playback SDK. It is a client-side library which allows developers to create a new player in Spotify Connect and play any audio track from Spotify in the browser. The third one is the iOS SDK. It makes the authentication of users very easy, as well as the other processes such as playback network and offline caching. The next one is the Android SDK. It is a lightweight toolkit that enables developers to focus on user experience by taking care of heavy lifting playback. The last one is Spotify Widget. These are the play and follow button, and they can embed tracks, artists, albums and playlists. Combined with each other, these tools can create many features that Spotify offers, and here we can see some apps that integrate these features. But how are Spotify's recommendations so damn good? Spotify basically exploits and explores. On the one hand, you listen to your song and playlist, creating your own taste profile, and on the other hand, all the users in the platform create billions of playlists. This is the way Spotify uses technique of deep learning with the open source Kafka and BART AI systems by recognizing patterns in enormous amounts of data and recommending new songs. The digital music market keeps on growing year over year, with many music subscriptions reaching up to 358 million in 2019. Spotify continues to be the leader, having 35% share of the total paid subscriptions. But despite its arguably immense popularity, it hasn't achieved global domination yet. Apple Music is the second most popular streaming platform, having a 19% share of the total market, and then it's Amazon Music with 15%, and Tencent Music Group, which leads the China market and is possessing now 11%.